Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Unexplained Phenomena video on the Montauk Mysteries. This is part 4. I did part 3 to lay the groundwork for part 4. Go back and check out part 3. Watch all 3 of the first 3 parts of this series. I want to stress to everyone watching this video that as far as I know, there is no tangible, physical, or irrefutable evidence that any of these stories about Montauk are real or true. The only real evidence is the stories of victims and witnesses and the testimony of people who claim to have worked at Camp Hero. And there's a lot of them. Oh my God, a lot of them. Many of these have never met, yet their stories kind of mesh, so that's what gives it that air of credibility. Go back and watch the first 3 parts to this story so you'll have an understanding of the frame of reference here. The stories about Montauk persist, and they are as wild and crazy as they come. Again, what I'm about to report to you here is all unverified. It is not verified. Here we go. There are stories about groups of children called the Montauk Boys and the Montauk Girls. The story goes that there are children taken off the streets and from foster care and from other sources where they would not be missed. These children were brought to Montauk. I cannot say that these are true accounts, but it is a proven fact that thousands and thousands of children go missing from America every year. Very few of them are ever found. There's a man named Ted Gunderson. He was a former FBI supervisor. He hit the lecture circuit. He was doing lectures documenting the child sex trade throughout the United States. You can see some of his videos, some of his lectures on YouTube. So, for free. So go and check those out. He talked about children being taken from schools, satanic ritual abuse, that kind of thing. And just for reference, 300,000, actually over 300,000 children went missing under the Biden administration. The Biden DHS not only couldn't find them, didn't know where they weren't even looking for them. Luckily, Donald Trump got into office and they're trying to find them. They found over 60,000 of these children. It's a nightmare. If everybody says, well, you can't be a helicopter parent these days. Yeah, you have to. You have to these days because weird shit's going on. Okay? If somebody says you're being a helicopter parent, you say yes and okay, because your children are precious. You always want to protect your children. If you're a parent, pay close attention. The reason these children were allegedly brought to Montauk was for experimentation and to be used in cross-dimensional and time travel excursions. Many of these children allegedly were subjected to brutal and relentless abuse intended to break their minds in preparation for mind control experiments similar to the MK Ultra program. And we know the MK Ultra program was real. It did in fact happen. Allegedly, these children were programmed through brainwashing to become intelligence assets or assassins or some other reason. Some of these children, allegedly, were used as psychic batteries to bolster the power levels of psychics who were used in experiments dealing with portals to other dimensions, time travel, and electromagnetic phenomena. Check out part 2 of this series and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Some of these children, allegedly, were used as barter with extraterrestrials or with extra-dimensional entities. I don't know what the trade was. Nobody does, but that's the story. Some of these children allegedly were used as agents to go through time or through portals to other dimensions. The reason children were allegedly used was that they were more open-minded and less susceptible to fixed bias. Their minds could more easily grasp the fantastical. If a child goes back in time and says weird things, it's a child. Children say weird things. They have imaginations. They're less likely to cause damage. A child that goes into another dimension and sees things that would break an adult, the child is more accepting. That's the story. That's the theory there. I don't know that I agree with it, but there you go. We have tons of stories from a variety of sources of children in government experiments traveling through time and visiting other dimensions. The first time I heard about it was on Art Bell years ago, and I thought it was all hogwash. But the more you look into it, the more plausible it becomes. I'm not saying it's real, but there's a lot of shit going on that we can't explain. We have victims' testimonies, some before Congress, where they describe sexual abuse and satanic rituals. Again, Ted Gunderson talked about this in his lectures before he was murdered. He also talked about black magic rituals. There is a worldwide sex trafficking industry, and the people behind it are wealthy and powerful. They are sick and depraved pieces of shit, but there they are. You really need to do some research into the Franklin scandal, the Franklin cover-up. That happened right here in America, and it was disgusting. Now, I cannot help but think that all of this may be interrelated. With thousands and thousands of children going missing every year, perhaps some of them ended up at Montauk. Perhaps some of them were abducted by Satanists or practitioners of black magic. Who knows? Perhaps Montauk, with its many projects and compartmented security agendas, was home to some of these Satanists or black magic practitioners. Think about it. It takes a truly evil person to exploit a child, especially for torture, brainwashing, and sexual reasons. And again, I must stress that none of this is proven. These are all allegations. But when you get so many different people telling the same or similar stories, all in the same time periods, allegedly dealing with the same government projects, you kind of have to sit up and take notice. The allegations of the story about the busload of children outside Montauk takes on a whole new level of concern when you factor in the tales that these other people are telling. Also, keep in mind that there are people who claim to be survivors of this abuse and have given testimony before Congress about it. Nobody can take that lightly. If you sit before Congress and you're given testimony, you're under oath. If you lie, if you say something that's knowingly not true, that's a felony. They can prosecute you for that. Okay? You don't do that lightly. If anyone has any more information or different information or information that I got wrong, please put it in the comments. I'm sure we'd all love to read them. This part of the Montauk Mysteries story was absolutely sick and disgusting, and I apologize, but in for a penny, in for a pound. If you're going to talk about part of the story, you got to talk about the whole story. And I tried to get all of the sick shit out of the way right off the bat. So there you go. It's all in one episode there. Boom, you're done. Okay. Again, if anybody has any more information, if you know anything else, put it in the comments. I'm sure we'd all love to read it. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.